AFAP is the Army Family Action Plan. It's a way for military families to have a voice in the decision-making process about their quality of life. The AFAP Conference is an opportunity for military families to come together and discuss the issues that are important to them. This year's conference will be held at the Warrior Center on Fort Polk, November 15th and 16th. So stay tuned to learn all about it. I'm Jeff England, and you're listening to the Fort Polk Podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you are listening to this, I'm Jeff England, and this is the Fort Polk Podcast. Today, I have with us Lucianne Buch. It is Buch, right? It is. Yeah. See, I keep everyone's trying to say it's Buch. But no, it's Buch.
That's right.
It's literally German for book.
That is correct.
B-U-C-H. And you work at ACS.
I do.
And your official position?
Well, my official position is the program manager for mobilization, deployment, and stability support operations.
That's a mouthful.
It sure is. But recently, I have had two of my employees PCS, so I have had the privilege of also taking on information and referral, the Army Family Action Plan, Army Volunteer Corps, and outreach. So I'm pretty much wearing a lot of different hats these days.
You know, everyone over at ACS is just so overburdened right now, and you guys are so overworked. I don't understand or get how you can everyone can keep it together.
It's challenging. I'm going to say challenging, but it's I'm learning a lot. I just came back from Germany. My husband and I were in Germany for 4.5 years. We loved it. It was a great opportunity. That was the first time I had ever had PCS because I met my husband in 2004. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 2002. We got married in 2004, and he brought me to Fort Polk, and we never left. So when the opportunity came to go to Germany, I was like, you are taking me to Germany. So, yeah, we loved it. Of course, we were there during COVID, so that wasn't so much fun, but we did get a lot of traveling in. Really, really great experience.
That's nice. Did you get down to Italy and all that stuff?
Oh, yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Awesome. Take the trains and stuff?
Oh, yes. We did an overnight train to Italy, to
nice.
Venice, and that was amazing.
Yeah, I used to live in Italy for 2 years, and I took, I was lucky because since I was stationed over there and young enough, I was able to get an Interrail pass, which is kind of like a Euro pass, but for locals.
Yes.
So it's a little cheaper.
Yeah.
And I was able to take a train trip around Europe, and I hit like 12 different countries in like 2 weeks. It was crazy.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was
I highly recommend it.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
And but today, I know we're not talking about travel and PCSing and all that stuff, but we are talking about the Army Family Action Plan.
We are.
And could you, just so everyone understands, I know that it's the way for family members and soldiers to have a voice in the decision making process.
Right.
But why don't you give us a better view on what it is, just the layman's terms out there, just so everyone will know exactly what they're talking about or what we're talking about.
Okay, so the Army Family Action Plan actually started in 1989, and it was started by a group of spouses who thought that the Army needed a way to hear what not only the family members but the soldiers were saying, that of things that needed to be improved, not only installation-wide but also Army-wide. So they started. It was a grassroots process, and this Army Family Action Plan has developed in the last 39 years to becoming one of the major catalyst of change in Army-wide issues. Since it was not 1989, it was 1983. Since its inception, over 740 issues have been submitted Army-wide, and that's all over the world because every installation all over the world has an Army Family Action Plan every year. Conference. And those 740 issues have resulted in 129 legislative changes, 197 Department of Defense or Army policy changes, and 216 improved programs or services throughout the Army. So when you think about that, it has really touched every single one of our lives.
It's actually gotten up to Congress?
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
So,
what would be like one of the biggest or most famous changes that were made?
Okay, so some of the changes that we would all be familiar with was the increase of the SGLI, Soldiers Group Life Insurance, an increase from $100,000 to $400,000. There have been dedicated special needs spaces in child youth services. There have been audio and video surveillance in child care centers. There have been the BOSS program. I'm sure everybody's familiar with that.
Yeah, that was 1989.
Yeah, that's better opportunities for single soldiers. That is.
I'm hoping to get them in here too. I'd like to talk about that.
They have a very robust program here at Fort Polk, and I know it's actually all over the world that the BOSS program is very, very popular. The Military Thrift Savings Plan was another one. So that are just some of the issues that have come out of the Army Family Action Plan.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. And that's just from everyone coming together and actually voicing their opinions or their ideas and stuff like that. And that's kind of what this conference is going to be about, isn't
it? Absolutely. So people have had the opportunity for the last few months to submit their ideas for proposing a change or making something new through the Army Family Web Portal. And we have had signs out there. We have done outreach programs in the commissary and the PX to suggest people to submit their issues to the Army Family Web Portal. And the last issues were submitted on the 25th of October. So we are no longer taking issues for this conference.
Just this conference. But you're still taking the comments and stuff.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. But they will be
addressed at the next
next conference.
So
yes.
Make sure that we get that website. That's the family home portal.
Army Family Web Portal.
The Army Family Web Portal.
Right.
I'll have to put that on the description and podcast. Make sure that everyone knows what that address is.
Right, absolutely. And so what will happen on the 15th and 16th of November is we are going to meet all of the delegates in the Warrior Center, and we're going to have an briefing by the garrison commander, Colonel Smith, and he is going to welcome the delegates and wish them good luck on their deliberations. And the delegates are going to be broken into working groups. They are going to work on the issues that have been submitted, and then they are going to put them in proper format because the AFAP issues have to be submitted or have to be submitted to the installation and to the big Army as a whole if we have installation and big Army issues, which I'm sure that we do. And then they're going to be presented in an out brief once the delegates prioritize those issues.
And who's allowed to go to the conference?
Well, we have an op order that had gone out, and the op order specifies the rank and the personnel that they need in order to have a cross section of the society of Fort Polk. So we need to have all ranks, all ethnicities, all backgrounds, lower, junior, and higher senior enlisted, all levels of officers and spouses, retirees, and DA civilians must participate in the conference because we need to get a good microcosm of that society.
Now, do the people that are going, do they already know
who they are?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or can somebody walk in off the street?
No. The delegates have already been submitted, and they have been submitted by their units.
Well, that's very cool.
Yes.
And they're the lucky ones. So.
Yes. They're the ones that are going to have the actual first look at the issues, and they're going to be the ones that are prioritizing those issues.
But that doesn't mean that people that aren't going to this one won't be able to go to the ones in the future.
Oh, no,
and
absolutely
they sure
not.
as heck still have that voice to put in their comments and their ideas through the Army Family
Web Portal. Yes,
I'll
that's
get
correct.
that straight before we get.
I know you will. I have faith in you.
Have you been privy to any of the subjects that are going to be talked about this
I do.
conference? Ooh, are they exciting?
Yes.
Which one?
They're always exciting.
Can you give us a sneak preview?
Okay, so spouse employment is always a very hot topic on this installation. So we do have some issues regarding spouse employment. We also have some issues regarding improvements to the installation, such as planting a community garden. That's something that's
a vegetable garden or just like flowers?
Well, it could be either.
I think vegetables would be better.
I think vegetables would be better as well, but
And then they can attract some rabbits, and then we can all have Hassenpfeffer.
Okay, if that's what you're into, sure, why not? So we also have some issues that are like more privy to all people, such as car registration fees. So yeah, we have a lot of really good issues this year, and I know that it's going to be a great conference.
I just everything that I think about for Army Family Action Plan is always very well done and I just like being heard.
Absolutely.
And there's all kinds of different subjects that come up with AFAP, and these are subjects that you might not even think would go through AFAP, but like educational benefits and stuff like that for families and children. And so, what kind of benefits like for education? Let's just start with that one and see what's going on. Do you have any information on educational benefits?
Well, one of the things that have come out of the Army Family Action Plan in the past has been the post 9/11 Veterans Education Assistance Act.
Yes,
and also the distributed soldier Montgomery GI Bill benefits that for dependents, which means that if a soldier has their GI benefits for education, and if they are not going to use that or whatever they have left, they can also sign those benefits down to their dependents, so they can use those benefits for college education.
Now, I do know that there are some restrictions on that. You have to have like a certain amount of years and all that stuff. But with all of that being said, just the post 9/11 GI Bill, that alone is a big step, because when I got mine, I had to pay $1,200 into it just to be eligible to use it.
Right.
So I paid in order to get out, and and I was pre 9/11. It's kind of sad how my active duty went. Is I got out on April Fool's Day.
Oh.
On 2001.
Wow.
And it was after that they changed over to the post 9/11 bill, but I wish I had that bill better. Yeah, it's a lot better, and from what I've seen and stuff. We also around post I've seen so many. I mean, I think we have so many that we can't even man them all. The child development centers, the CDCs, and the CYS, the MST. They're all CDCs.
Sure, absolutely.
And but we have so many of them. Is that something like childcare in general? Is that something that the AFAP does?
Yes, as I said before, some of the things that have come out of the AFAP conference has been audio and video surveillance in child care centers. There's also been a minimum standard requirement for all Army child care, so it's across the board. So whether you're here at Fort Polk or you're at Fort Leavenworth or you're across overseas in Grafenwehr, for example, all of the child care is minimum standard. So you're going to get the same child care that you get here that you're going to get overseas or you're going to get in another installation. So that's a very big thing that came out of Army Family Action Plan.
That is so cool. And especially those cameras, the surveillance cameras in the CDCs is a godsend.
It really is.
Because not only does it cut down or at least allows evidence if something did happen, you can actually see. And if the things that I can see happening is children misbehaving.
Yeah.
And then the parents accusing the workers there of doing something wrong when they really didn't, and they just said, "Let's go to the tape."
Right. Exactly.
Roll the film.
Right.
Here we go.
I know another thing that's very important, especially for active duty soldiers, is that they have improved chiropractic treatment for active duty soldiers.
Oh, that is so nice, because when I was in, they wouldn't give me chiropractic care at all. They actually said, "No, do not go."
Right.
Even if you pay for it yourself, don't go. It's like, what?
I know. It's a lot more mainstream now.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of service members have problems with back and legs and stuff like that. Yes. Well, including me as well. And I'm not a soldier, but I'm just old. Anyway.
Breaking down.
As I
hit everything on the table.
So yes, That's a really great benefit, a really great benefit. Also, there's improved dental and vision insurance coverage for federal employees. So it doesn't only help active duty soldiers, but it's also for reserve component soldiers, retirees, and as I said, DA civilians as well.
The insurance for reserve and guard, did that come through AFAP? Or
it did.
Okay, because
that's reserve component families.
Yeah, when I started in the guard, they didn't have any kind of insurance. Well, they had very little insurance for the members,
right?
Even if we wanted to pay for it, and then all of a sudden now we get Blue Cross Blue Shield,
right?
And I still wasn't eligible for it because I'm a GS civilian.
Yeah.
So it's just more stuff has come out of AFAP than I even begin to imagine. So all the medical stuff in general, the chiropractor and just the coverage for reserve guard components, and that is very cool. And dental and visual is very important also.
Also, there's a new paternity leave for soldiers, which is very important too, because the soldiers, if they are not if they are not having the baby, but they want to stay home with their spouse who just had the baby, that's very important. Those are very formative time for that bonding with that child.
That's when the mom says, "Okay, you can stay with the baby. I'm going to go take a break."
Exactly.
Now, you get the married couples, the married people with families and all that stuff. But you did bring up boss earlier. What about single soldiers? They've got things going on, and an Army Family Action Plan. Single soldiers, their families are usually far away, but they make family in the barracks, and they make family here on post.
They do.
So what kind of benefits are they doing?
Well, there's also standardized barracks security measures that they have instituted through the Army Family Action Plan. So, cameras in the barracks and things like that has come out of the Army Family Action Plan. And as we talked about the BOSS program.
Yeah, better opportunities for single soldiers.
Right.
Which they, no, they don't have that for the Air Force.
Oh, no.
No, they'd have to call it like BAFA or something like that.
Well, the Air Force is a special feature.
Single BASA, better opportunity. BOSA.
Okay.
It just doesn't work.
It doesn't have that rhyme.
It doesn't have the ring to it.
Another thing that has come out of the Army Family Action Plan has been Army Family Team Building, and that is through Army Community Service, and that's another program that I am wearing that hat right now. And I remember when I first came to Fort Polk after I married my husband, I knew nothing about the military whatsoever.
You still don't.
Really? Okay, do you want to do this interview? So I couldn't get a job right away, so I thought I need to educate myself about what I just got myself into when I married my husband. So I took the Army Family Team Building classes, and I learned how to tell military time, because my husband would tell me I'd be home at 1800, and I would be like,
8 o'clock?
I have no idea what that means, but okay. And he would talk in all these acronyms and talk about his SSG and First Sergeant and all this other stuff, and I had no idea what he was talking about. So I took the Army Family Team Building classes, and I was very impressed with the amount of knowledge that I was able to gain, and I actually could understand him when he came home and was talking about all this stuff. So that was another thing that came out of the Army Family Action Plan, because there was a need to educate all of the family members who were brand new to the military or were very far from home, and this was their first time living on their own, and they had no support system. So I have met friends from my Army Family Team Building classes that I still am friends with today. So it was great. It was a great opportunity.
Yeah, there are long-lasting friendships made in the military, and then there's others that just come and go.
Yep.
But I think the social media has actually kept everything a lot closer, everyone a lot closer and meaner
And meaner, definitely
together.
meaner.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's like get
Yeah.
unfriended and ignored because I disagree with somebody.
Right.
Like, what? Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, you and I are from the same generation, I think. And,
Yes, and I'm very happy that there were no social media or cameras back then. Because
absolutely.
There's no evidence.
No evidence, no visual evidence. Yes.
And I was able to walk down to the store and get a candy bar and not worried about being mugged.
Exactly.
But there's also the spouse employment.
Mm-hmm.
What's come out of AFAP for spouse employment?
Well, some of the things for spouse employment have been there has been a spouse professional weight allowance for PCS moves. So, for example,
you're only allowed to PCS your spouse if they meet the weight requirements?
No, you need to hit that button. That was a really bad joke. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So the professional weight allowance has to do if you have a lot of professional equipment. So, for example, if you have a lot of professional equipment with whatever you do, maybe you are
Airborne.
okay, sure. If you have a lot of professional equipment that you need to PCS with, you have that weight allowance in addition to whatever your household good allowances are and your spouse's allowance for their professional equipment. That's an increase in how much weight you can PCS with.
Oh, okay. So I get it. Like the home-based business kind of stuff.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing is family member employment in the civil service system. So, in other words, if you are in the GS system, you're a GS employee. There is a preference that you get when you apply for positions in the GS system. So you have a spouse preference in that system.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So they get special preference over all of the other people that apply to.
Right.
Okay. So how many so apparently that's a big thing around here. They've got the spouse employment to make sure that spouses that are having problems finding a job, because it's like they go from one job to another and all that.
Right.
They're still getting a fair chance, a fair shake at getting a job within the GS positions.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. Right. I understand that now. So the Family Action Council or Conference that's going on. I've been to one of those. I think I was there last year.
Okay.
And they go around and they bring up all these ideas or concerns, and then they break out into discussion groups to discuss what kind of action or what kind of response can be made to better this or to make it non-existent anymore if there was a problem.
Correct. Now, the issues can sometimes be labeled as unattainable, or they can be labeled as there's already a process in place. So, for example,
so it's already being worked on.
Right, already being worked on. So when the Army Family Action Plan was developed in 1983, there were no other forums to get to where we are right now with the Army Family Action Plan. In other words, there wasn't an ICE system, there wasn't a quality of life conference, there wasn't all of these other forums to make the changes that have come out of Army Family Action Plan. So right now, we haven't been getting as many issues for the Army Family Action Plan because there are so many other forums for this. The Army Family Action Plan has not been getting a lot of issues. We have a total of 17 issues right now that we're going to be working on. A lot of the issues, or some of the issues, may come out as having another forum that they're being worked in. So we have one issue that is transportation on the installation. Now, I can tell you that that issue is being worked in a quality of life forum. So that is probably going to come up as being worked in another forum. So that
okay.
the delegates will not be able to work that because there's already a process in place to see if they can come up with a resolution for that issue.
Well, we already have taxis on post, and I believe Uber is allowed on post, and Lyft, and walking, and bicycles.
Right.
I'm still waiting for my flying car. I was promised that back in 2015.
Well, George Jetson, I think, had the flying car, and I think we're past that point already, right?
George Jetson was born in August of this year.
Right. So they had flying cars. I think we're behind the times a little.
I'm thinking not only do we need the flying cars from the George Jetson, but we also need Rosie.
Absolutely. Loved Rosie. She was awesome. Absolutely. I would love to have my own Rosie.
Rosie the robot. Rosie Riveter.
Yep.
I think that was her name, is Rosie Rivet. I don't know.
Did
either. Rosie have a last name? Oh,
I think it was just Rosie.
But I digress.
Yes.
So you're going to separate all of the problems or all the concerns and ideas up. They say, okay, this one is AFAP, this one is quality of life, this one is boss, this one is this and that. So you make sure. So one of the things for the conference is to make sure that these issues are being directed to the right proper organization or team to fix it.
Correct.
And then if we come up with a issue of some sort, whether good, bad, or indifferent, at the AFAP conference, and it is deemed that AFAP should take the reins on it, what is the process at the conference? They'll talk about it and they'll just say, okay, yes, this is a good one to handle.
Okay, so what happens is the delegates are going to prioritize their issues that are actual issues that can be worked on. And then they're going to determine whether it's a Fort Polk issue or it's a big Army issue. And from those issues, they will prioritize the installation issues versus the big Army issues. And in the outbrief, they will brief the command team as to what those top issues are. And if we do have a big Army issue that needs to go forward, they will brief the command team on that, and those issues will go forward to big Army.
Well, I kind of like the idea of a 1040 week. That'd be nice. Let's take that to big
put an
Army.
issue in.
Let's take that up to big Army, and we'll have 10-hour work days, but we'll only work 4 days a week.
You should have put that
I
in.
like that idea. That way it's a 3-day weekend.
You have to put it in for next year.
And then, that'd be so nice.
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
Yeah, but you have to put it in for next year.
And then if we have a holiday like Veterans Day, we can have a 5-day weekend. Well, that's 3-day, so we'd have 4-day weekend.
Right.
And then we take liberal leave, and that's a 5-day weekend.
I'm getting the feeling you just don't want to work.
I don't want to work. I'm still upset that I didn't win the lotto.
Oh yeah,
man.
that was
One
terrible.
person with $2.06 billion. Wow. And I likened it to if you had $2,060, would you be willing to give me $1?
Sure.
That would be like you winning the $2.06 billion and giving me $1 million. So it's like, okay, $1 million. Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's just $1. Only I could make $1 million into $1.
Absolutely.
Well, that in the economy.
Yeah, the economy.
How many? This is a yearly conference, right?
It is.
And and it happens this time of year every year.
Yeah, usually October, November. It depends on how it falls.
Okay, fall, get it? Autumn. Yeah, I get it. And
Use it. Oh,
and
that was terrible.
and then we work all year. And will you bring up in the conference and with AFAP what is being taken forward and what's being done with the issues that were brought up the year prior?
So the issues the year prior, we will probably not discuss the issues the year prior because at the outbrief, those are the only issues that will be discussed. Now the command team will know. We will. and they should have been discussed at the last year's conference. So this is fiscal year 23 conference. We will have them. We will have the outbrief videotaped and put out on social media. So anybody that wants to see that will be able to view that on social media.
So, okay, so you said the outbrief is when you'll bring up the issues of the prior year, or
no, not the prior year, the issues that were submitted this year.
This year. So,
Yes.
So how do we find out the status of issues that were brought up? Is there a way to find out?
They can contact me, and I would be glad to get that information for them.
But you never answer your phone.
That is not true.
Yeah, you answered it once. Gosh.
That's the only time you contact me.
You're always out of the office working hard.
I will give you my cell phone, and then you can call me whenever.
I'll call you on the weekends. Hey, what you doing?
I won't answer you.
See, I told you don't answer.
I won't answer you on the weekends.
Just because you put, and I know how you put my name in there. You put it as in spam.
I did not do that. Oh, you have such an active imagination.
I do. I do.
do.
That's why I'm in this career field, you know? So we've got what about pay? Is that even something that you would bring up, like money-wise and leave and stuff like that?
Well, sure. That's how we got the soldier paternity leave and the
that's right. That's right.
and also the thrift savings plan. And
what exactly happened with that? How did that come about? Is that the new retirement system?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the military thrift savings plan.
That's because just as I was retiring is when they started implementing that for the Guard, at least, and they were saying if you have this many years or more, you don't have to worry about joining it because it would have been a waste of time for me,
Right?
Because I didn't have enough time to put any money in it,
Right.
But what's the basis behind that? Why are they putting in a TSP instead of the 20-year retirement?
Well, I think it's to boost the retirement that you're going to have because, like no one knows what's going to happen in the future. So it's just to make sure that you have enough when you retire.
Well, after this year, I've seen my TSP. God, I lost like half the value of it. It's like I am retired. I was going to retire when I was alive. Now, but so they say that's a better option. Can you take the TSP with you if you decide not to go for the full 20 years?
I believe you can.
And so it's more like a 401k.
Yes, exactly.
So it's a 401k type of retirement plan that is more. It's probably more sustainable and it's more flexible. So so that came about. So now people that come in and they want to spend 5-8 years and then move on, they don't have to say I just wasted my 8 years.
Exactly.
They've got something towards that they put into an IRA or transferred over to a 401k.
Right, and there is a certain amount of percentage that the government will match. I believe
5%.
5%, I think. Yeah. So
it's 5% for me.
5% free money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely.
And then
you should do that.
I think the max is you can donate or you can save 12%.
Right.
So it'll be 12% plus the 5% match.
Right.
So that's not bad. It's too bad that I can't put in 12% and get matched 12%. That'd be nice.
That would be
That'd
awesome.
be cool.
Yeah.
That way I wouldn't have to worry about retiring and living off the streets.
Right. Exactly.
I'll be over there. We'll stand here with a sign for
going
food.
to Florida.
I would love to go to Florida. Well, not right now, but
Right. Right. Yeah. I don't want to go to Florida right now.
It's like these states just rotate through. Okay, Florida, it's your turn. You get all the hurricanes.
Exactly.
It was ours last time. We're still trying to recover. There's still piles of trash down towards Lake Charles.
I know, it's terrible.
Dang.
I was when we were in Germany that happened.
Oh, you're lucky.
I know.
That was the safest place to be.
I know, but it's heartbreaking. You go down there and you see all these things boarded up still and tents, tarps over everything. It's terrible.
But we will rebuild.
Absolutely.
And they'll move back.
Yep.
And we'll have crawfish season will go on.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's coming up soon. That's coming up, what, January, I think? January, February timeframe.
A few more
Can't wait
months.
for that. We'll put that in the AFAP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like
free crawfish boil.
Mondays will be red beans and rice day. Fridays will be crawfish boil. And Wednesdays in the winter will be gumbo.
Oh, I like that.
All right. Sounds good.
So you need to do another issue.
I will
for
have
next
to
year.
do another issue.
Okay. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
So we've got all of this going on the 15th and 16th.
Correct.
And for those that can't make it or weren't invited, weren't special enough, doesn't mean that they can't participate.
No.
You'll get to see the video of the closing ceremonies, the closing brief.
Exactly.
So that you'll see what was brought up this year.
Right.
You have the website, the Family Portal website to go to and put in any kind of issues and any kind of ideas or things like that.
Correct.
Like maybe a bus route on post.
Yeah. But don't put that in because that's in for this year.
That's already in.
Right.
I can already see that it's like, well, I don't know. Or I'm sure there's a lot of gate issues too.
Actually, no, not this year.
That's good.
No
People
gate
are finally
issues this
figuring
year.
out that when one car goes through a gate in a day, it's not worth manning.
Yeah, right.
I'd really like to see some kind of automated kind of thing. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, if you have one person in the car, you can go through this and just swipe your card and you can get in, or have an exit only lane where you can't come in through that gate.
Right.
You can only go out.
You can. Why don't you make that another issue? See, you're just racking the issues up here.
Because I am an idea person. I'm not a doer. I'm just an idea guy. I come up with the ideas. Other people have to do the stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. But we did. I mean, there are a lot of good things that I've seen happen around here, and that, especially, I don't even know who's putting in all these or what is being or how they're coming about. But there are ideas that I see getting implemented all the time.
Right.
Food trucks on post.
Right.
Bringing in a local restaurant for the food court. The different hours for the gates, of course. And I did see that the command does listen to things like that because the hours of the gates were changed again.
Absolutely.
So it's not like you're just whining to complain, but things do get done and things do get considered. And just because you put something in and nothing was done about it doesn't mean they didn't listen and they didn't look at it. So this is their opportunity to listen and discuss all the things and figure out what can be done to make Fort Polk better.
Right.
Because we're always trying to improve.
Absolutely. And, like I said, I met my husband in 2002 and we got married in 2004. And since I've been down here, which has been forever, there have been so many changes down here. And people that have just gotten here or only have been here for a year or two, they cannot fathom the amount of change that has been down here in Fort Polk. And, they only see like all the negatives. Well, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that. I have to drive so far to get to that. But there have been so many improvements here in Fort Polk, and I just wish people would give it a chance.
Oh, I mean, there's something that I learned a little too late in life, and that was you can be miserable anywhere.
Absolutely.
It takes a conscious decision to be happy someplace.
Right.
And it's amazing how just saying that, just taking your attitude and saying, you know what, I'm going to be happy here. I don't care if people say it's no fun. This is a place that you want to be and all that stuff. I'm going to make the most of it.
Absolutely.
And you will. And it's all in the attitude. I mean, I've been to some nice places. I went to Korea. I was miserable there. And then when I left, it's like, oh man, that place was rocking.
Right.
I love that place. Then I went to Italy. Oh, this is going to be a great place. Nope, I was miserable there because of my attitude.
Right.
It's like, well, everything's so far away and everything's a toll road and all this stuff. And I left that place. It's like, oh, let me go back.
Right.
I love that place. And then I came down here and it's like, you know what? This is the place. This is where it's all going to turn around. This is going to be a place. And I've been here since 2005.
Wow.
And I haven't looked back.
Yep.
And now it's time for me to, it's getting close to time for me to retire, and I'm going to retire someplace.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, it might not be here. It might be Florida. It might be Arizona. It won't be Las Vegas because my wife won't let me go to Vegas.
Uh-oh.
I want to go to Vegas. Anyway.
I'm sure they have casinos somewhere in Florida.
I'm sure, but, it's just, I like the dry heat. I like the dry heat. The humidity is really horrible for me.
It's pretty humid in Florida.
Yes, it is. It's as humid in Florida as it is here, but you can also have that ocean breeze. So.
That's true.
Yeah, so you got that going for you. And right now that ocean breeze is blowing like at 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, you don't want that right now. Yeah.
Well, Lucy, I appreciate you coming on in and being on my show finally.
Thank you.
It was so nice of you to finally show up.
Thank you. I'm sorry I was a little late, but
that's okay. We made it.
Because I'm busy.
Of course, we're all busy around here. That's why you had to find me in my office.
I know, but I appreciate you asking me, and I'm really glad to be here. And
I'm glad we had to have you on. I would love to have you back. We can talk about all kinds of programs that you have over there.
Great.
Mobilization and all that stuff.
Great.
All right, Lucy Book from ACS. I'm Jeff England, and we were talking about the Army Family Action Plan and the Army Family Action Plan Conference that's coming up on the 15th and 16th. And I appreciate everyone listening in on our Fort Polk podcast, and we'll be listening at you later.